Luke, so good to see you. A really important topic today. 5 financial blind spots that can burden a grieving spouse. The loss of a spouse is overwhelming, and for many survivors, it also brings unexpected financial surprises. So let's talk through those 5 top blind spots. Number one, surprise debt. Many surviving spouses are caught off guard by debts they didn't know existed. So, how can couples avoid this surprise?
Yeah, so there tends to be kind of one common theme that we'll see a lot in a married couple is that one spouse kind of handles a lot of the financial
Yeah.
decisions and the other one just kind of rolls with the punches. And so in those examples, sometimes there will be things that have been financed that one spouse might be unaware of. So I think it's important as any married couple to have a sit down meeting maybe once a year and just discuss where everything is and where all of the different accounts are located. And that's something in our office that we do as much as we can to have all of our meetings with both spouses present so that we can be fully transparent on where everything is and make sure both parties are aware of what's going on.
It was so helpful to have an advocate like you after significant life changes like that. Really good point. All right, next, being locked out of accounts. It's not uncommon for a surviving spouse to face delays accessing money when accounts are frozen or tied up in probate. So, how can those delays be avoided?
Yeah, so I think it's important, regardless really of a widower situation, would be to have a liquid emergency fund available at any one point for any surprise expenses. But on the other side of it, it's important to obviously name your beneficiaries correctly
Mm.
so that you can get those accounts transferred as quickly as possible. And then also consider any accounts that are non-qualified to name those as joint accounts instead of single accounts so that you're not locked out of trading or distributing when that occurs.
Mhm. Number three, invisible credit records. Some widows discover they have little or no credit history in their own name. So, what steps can couples take to ensure that both people have established credit?
Yeah, somewhat of the same conversation, which would be to consider when you're going into any major expenditures or major borrowing that you are doing those as joint loans or joint credit cards and whatever it may be, so that you're building credit for both parties. And then also, again, just being aware of what is out there as the surviving spouse is very
Mhm.
important there too.
Mhm. Now, the fourth surprise is the reality of a new budget. When one spouse handles all the finances, the true cost of daily life can be eye opening.
Yeah, and there tends to be this situation where it doesn't necessarily mean that expenses are cut in half, just
Right.
because one spouse is gone. Generally, electric costs and utility costs and home costs and things like that are
Taxes,
not
yeah.
necessarily cut exactly at 50%. And so it can be eye opening, depending on how those survivorship income are set up to be pretty alarming for the spouse that's maybe not the one that handled spending previously.
Yeah, it's overwhelming just when it's your regular job in the family to balance income and expenses, but to be thrown into that, I can't even imagine. All
Oh,
right,
absolutely.
last, higher tax brackets after loss. This is also known as the widow's tax. Why is that?
Yeah, we talk about this quite a bit with the what's known as the widow's tax, which would be essentially that after the year you lose a spouse, the very next year you would step from married filing jointly into a single tax bracket. And it can, in essence, increase your tax bill. Even if your incomes stay exactly the same, suddenly your federal income tax bill is much higher than what it was previously. And
Right.
so in these brackets, I always kind of use 100,000 of income as an example. If you're married filing jointly with 100,000 of income, you're towards the top end of a 12% tax bracket. The very next year, after you have lost a spouse, if you're continuing with that same income, you are comfortably into the top end of a 22% tax
Right.
bracket. And so
Right.
that's the unforeseen widow's tax.
Hmm.
Now, it becomes ultra important, and this is something we talk about ad nauseum, which would be as a retiree and as a married couple that you start to set yourself up for tax freedom into the future. And a lot of times that is with Roth conversions. So any IRA accounts that you can continue to move over to Roth before that time comes is helpful while both spouses are living. And it's ultra helpful when one spouse is gone at some point in the future. Required minimum distributions don't stop just because one spouse has passed away. And so the more you can shift money over and become a little more tax efficient, the better in the long run.
hmm Luke, I very much appreciate how you value educating clients and making sure that everyone in the family is involved in this process because it can be overwhelming. So, having an ally like you can really help, again, especially during these difficult moments. So, if somebody wants to make sure that they have all of these kind of plans in place to take care of their spouse no matter what, what's the best way to reach you?
Yes, as always, they can find us at our website at ewgretire.com. And there's a link on the homepage there to schedule with any advisor here or reach us by phone, 937-498-1128. We'd be happy to sit down and talk through those. And a lot of times that's making sure beneficiaries are named, even on accounts that maybe we're not even necessarily going to be able to help you with.
Right.
Just making sure everything is situated and set up to go the way you want it to go.
Exactly. Luke, thank you very much.
Thanks, Aaron.